All right, are we good? Jesus Christ, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible looking setup. My webcam is actually literally potato. All right, I'm gonna see if it's working right now. I know I'm early. I know I'm very early, but I'm very early. I'm like an idiot right now. I'm like an idiot right now. Okay. All right, so ask me anything. So I've lived in the USA um for 2 months now. So if you count December 25th as the first day, then I've been living here for 2 months and 8 days, or to be precise 31 plus 6 plus 31 plus 28 plus 2, which is 31 plus 28 plus 8, which is 39 plus 28, which is 67 days. I've been living in the USA for 67 days now. Day 67. Um and I'm kind of lagging behind. If you look at my college update videos, they are really old. My last college update video, losing my keys and leaving the house, covers the events from January 18th to 22nd. I accidentally left a bit of 18th in the video. And right now it's already March 2nd. And go ahead and watch that vlog. But just to let you know that the situation is extremely different now. So much has happened. You know, in a way, I feel really happy that right now I'm living a very eventful life, that shit's happening left and right every single day, almost every single day. I'm happy about that. You know, back in 2020 and 2021, I would. Yeah. Also, I started early today. I know. I'm sorry. Um. Yeah. Back in 2020 and 2021, I really felt like I wasn't living as a person. I really felt like a zombie. I felt like I turned into a machine. I'm gonna drink some orange juice. Right here. Friggin' no pulp Florida's natural premium Florida orange juice. If I could give this a rating, I would give it a 6 out of 10. At least this is better than Tropicana, which is the second orange juice I've bought. Actually, that isn't even orange juice. That's like a mango orange mix, and it's terrible. Tastes like dishwashing soap. So at least it's better than Tropicana, but it's still kind of mediocre. But you know, I have to finish this thing, or not finish, but like at least drink as much of it as possible before I leave. So there's that. Also, I just came back home from film class. Um, technically didn't have dinner. The dinner is a 1 foot long Subway, which is 12.28 US dollars, which is about 90 Hong Kong dollars. 90 fucking dollars for a 1 foot long Subway. Jesus Christ. Welcome to LA. But that's my dinner. So shabby. I'm malnourished, I know. Acne showing on my face because there's a lot of oil. LA is literally hell. And I know I say this all the time. I'm living in hell. I'm living in hell. I'm living in hell. Everywhere is hell for me. Like back in school, I would say, "Oh, I'm in hell right now because if I jump off the roof and I die, I fall and die, I just come back." And this statement has several layers to it, really. I mean, first of all, it's literally hell. It's a place you can't escape. But also the fact that you can't even commit suicide because you would just wake up and realize it's a dream because you can't even tell what's reality and what's not. And also, the inner you wants to commit suicide, the real you, the unconscious, but your conscious mind is more like trying to stay alive, and that kind of pulls you apart. Um, I'm just going off rambling. I'm smiling right now, but my situation right now is absolutely awful. Come to Brazil, 24 hours speaking in Portuguese. Yeah. Um LA is very diverse. It's a good thing. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I feel like being Asian is a cool thing now. Oh, you're Asian? Squid Game, anime. And I'm Asian, okay? I see Asians all the time when I'm living in Hong Kong. That's all there is. You go onto the streets, we're all Hong Kongers, bitch. But now Asians are rarer and fewer, farther between. So every time I see them, I'm like, brother, sister. And it doesn't have to be a Hong Konger. It doesn't have to even be Chinese or Korean. Like, I mean, if it's South Asian, it's a little different. But like, if I see a Vietnamese person, I'm like, hey, that's fucked up. If I see Japanese people, I don't think anime people, but I'm just like, man, I just want to walk up to them and say, Hajime mashite, yoroshiku, something like that. It's just a weeb. Um, yeah, LA is incredibly diverse. So that's one of the good things. So far, I've lived here for 67 days, and there are several good things. First of all, I get to study film. That's great. That's fucking amazing. I've been waiting for this for years. In Hong Kong, you can't really do that because Hong Kong schools don't get the funding and Hong Kong school systems don't work like that. You can't follow your dreams in Hong Kong school systems, which has its pros and cons, by the way. I don't entirely hate the fact that math is mandatory. A 6-year long math course is mandatory in Hong Kong. Actually, kind of agree with that. But I get to study film. That's good. It's diverse. So yeah, I'm Hong Konger. I'm Asian. But you know what? Nobody beat me up. Nobody has shown any racism. It depends on how you define racism, actually, because there have been several times where people are ignorant. Like, oh, you're Asian. Oh, you're from Hong Kong. Oh, you're Chinese. Fuck you. But so far, nobody has beaten me up because I'm Asian or anything. Like, LA is really Asian friendly, actually, especially the east side, Monterey Park, Alhambra, Chinatown, San Gabriel. That area is just filled with Chinese, Taiwanese, Hong Konger, and Vietnamese. Lots of Vietnamese. And then West LA is full of Japanese people, and that is concentrated around Santa Monica and Sawtell and downtown Santa Monica, Pico, Century City ish. So many friggin' Japanese people. And then Koreans concentrate on in Koreatown, and there's a Thai town. Like the Asian immigration patterns in LA and many other cities is actually very freaking interesting. Like just you can kind of tell which generation, like in terms of Chinese immigration, you can kind of tell which generation are they from. Like, in the 1890s, there are a bunch of toy Chinese people who sort of immigrated to San Francisco and LA and helped build railroads in California. And that is like Gen 1. And then there's Gen 2. And then there's the Cultural Revolution generation, people who are escaping the tyranny of Mao Zedong when the Communist Party started to rise up. And then there's another wave when the Communist Party started to become more democratic and progressive during the late 70s and early 80s. You know, the Hu Jintao period. No, Hu Jintao's way later. The Richard Nixon period, which is Deng Xiaoping actually. And then there's the new generation. You know, people who escaped China because the political situation right now, and people who escape Hong Kong. Like me, I am history, okay? I am history. That's what I tell myself. So again, okay, pros and cons of living in the USA. Pros, I get to study film. No racism in LA. That's cool. And that's it. The weather is nice, I guess. I mean, it's dry, okay? The weather is incredibly dry. I apply hand cream on my hands every single day, and after shower every single night, I put face cream because if I don't, it'll explode with acne. There's a biological concept called negative feedback mechanism where if your skin is too dry, your brain tells you that, oh my god, your skin is so dry, so secrete more oil. So it secretes more oil on my face, thus more acne. So I have to constantly wash my face to get rid of my skin oil, but then add a layer of moisture on top in order to fake my body, in order to lie to my body, to scam to my body. I also have hand cream. Oh my, see, my hands are cracked up again because it's so fucking dry. LA is the driest place I've ever been to in my life. The place is literally a desert. It has cactus growing, for God's sakes. And it's a desert, so the temperature difference between day and night is insane. It's absolutely insane. Like in the afternoon, it could be like 20 something degrees. And I'm talking winter. And then at night it's like 8 degrees, 9 degrees. It's just bollocks. It's bollocks. And then in terms of cons, there are tons, okay? There are tons of terrible things about living in LA. It's expensive. Everything's expensive. Food, housing, everything. So fucking expensive. Um Especially food. If you want to eat at restaurants, you should think twice because if you go to USA, you got to pay tax, you got to pay tips. And that's basically double of everything. And Uber Eats is the worst. It's absolutely the worst. Never ever use Uber Eats. Okay, I've only used it twice so far, and I will probably never use it again unless I'm in an emergency. Because it's always double the price. So a $14 plate of rice, kind of expensive, but okay. But once you receive your bill, it's $28. Why? Because you have tax, you have tips, you have the delivery fee, and then you have the Californian driver's fee. It doubles. Uber Eats is god awful. Don't do that. Restaurants, it depends on which restaurants, but usually restaurants are also extremely expensive. Um, so the best way to live here is to just go to the supermarket, go to a nearby supermarket, and there are tons of supermarkets in LA. Okay, Ralph's, that's the one I go to the most. So Ralph's. There's Walgreens, which is I can't tell what's the difference between a grocery store and a supermarket. It's probably the same thing. I don't know. Grocery is an American word. Leave me alone. But there are Ralph's, Walgreens. There's Walmart, which I haven't seen any in LA for some fucking reason. There's Safeway, which I also haven't seen. There's Quality Food Center, which you can find a lot in Seattle. And even in Ralph's and other supermarkets, you need to be on the lookout for what's overpriced and what's not. Candy bars, for example, chocolate bars, candy bars, they're overpriced as hell. $2 for one bar. That's insane. Candy, some candy is super expensive, some are fine. So Trolley sour candy, regular sour candy. No. Beef jerky, don't even think about it. Cold cut, depends. Fish, surprisingly cheap. Beef, you should go to Trash Taste Podcast. Yes, I should. I should join the boys. They don't even talk about anime. Yeah, I feel like it's a cool thing. Okay, so it's such a funny thing about the world's perception of America. When America started, it's the new world, it's this new land across Europe. It's so interesting. And it's been like that. But until um I guess 2010s, when there's this American centrism and a lot of Americans are like, ooh, we are the best people in the world. Then people started hating on America, but then the hate started to get too much, and now I'm like, yeah, there are bad things about America, and then there are good things about America, but mostly bad. Let's be honest here. But yeah, fish is surprisingly cheap. I look forward to buying some and frying some myself if I have time, maybe next week or so. But meat in general is very expensive. Beef, pork, expensive. Chicken, somewhat okay. But the one thing that you have to buy every time you go to a supermarket, because it's cheap and it's healthy, fruits and vegetables, especially oranges and apples. Tomatoes are really good. I highly recommend tomatoes. I highly recommend broccoli. Americans love broccoli. They love broccoli and they sell a lot of broccoli. Um, they put broccoli in everything, even in Chinese food. Americans think Chinese people love chicken because a lot of American Chinese restaurants serve a lot of chicken. And that's not because Chinese people love chicken. That's because Americans love chicken. This is why when these Chinese restaurants started and these restaurant managers wanted to cater to Americans, they make a lot of chicken because Americans in general love chicken. There's this really stupid stereotype that black people love chicken. I think this stereotype only exists because white people only feed them chicken because chicken is the cheaper meat. It is easier to farm. It's such a stupid stereotype. But it is absolutely true that Americans put oil in everything. So much oil, just drenched in oil. Americans love oil. Soldiers go to the Middle East and fight for what? Oil. And then in our food, also drenched with oil. Um yeah, so food, I can complain about American food forever. Like there are just so many things wrong about it. Americans love orange juice. Again, just nonstop orange juice. But one thing I noticed is that different households are different. So I've lived in two houses right now. Right now, I'm in the second house, and they're both different. The first house is awful, absolutely awful, shit ass food. No fruits and vegetables. There are fruits and vegetables, but they don't eat them. And it's just on a basket, and it's just there, like a fucking stone, like a fucking decoration. And in my old host, the old woman keeps a plastic box of baby carrots in the fridge. She never washes them, she seldom eats them, and it's just there in the fridge for like 2 weeks. Yes, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. But this new host, salad exists. Oh my god. They acknowledge the existence of salad. That's good. That is good. But even so, the thing about American food that I hate is that there is no calmness. And now this is where my East Asian side starts showing, is that what I love about Chinese food is that there is a balance between exciting foods, oily foods, salty foods, and something calming and soothing, like a soup. The first Chinese food that I missed is actually soup. Like one day I just thought, man, I miss a hot, steamy bowl of lotus root peanut soup. Kutsu yam black bean soup. Oh my god. Apple and pear pork bone soup. Coconut chicken soup. Oh, tofu fish soup, watercress fishball soup. I mean, I could just name soups. Tomato soup, potato soup, all kinds of Southern Chinese slash Hong Kong style soups. I just miss them so much. Old fire soups, okay? The kind of soups that you have to brew for 3 hours, and I have no idea how to brew them. You need water, obviously, a big pot, strong fire, and you need these condiments. And Chinese soup condiments vary. Like there's some, if you want saltiness, there's dried squid, there's cured ham. If you want sweetness, there are dried dates. And there's ginkgo biloba, which enhances the flavor. And the thing is, in LA, it's full of white people because, duh, it's America. Um, it's all very diverse, and most of the Chinese foods you can only find in the east side of LA near Chinatown. There's even a Chinese supermarkets. I've been to one. It's awesome. I mean, relatively awesome, I guess. Like obviously, there are still foods I want to find, but I can't find. From meatballs and fish balls to tofu. I would love to buy a chunk of tofu. I would love to do that. But Chinese supermarkets exist. You can buy bok choy. You can buy choy some. You can buy you can't buy kangkung, which is actually more of a Southeast Asian vegetable than a Chinese vegetable. But I do miss that vegetable a lot. Kangkung with shrimp paste. If I get my hands on some shrimp paste, I'm eating that. One good thing about West LA is that there are lots of Japanese people, thus there are a lot of Japanese food. Sawtell Japantown, absolutely amazing. At night, it's like an extension of Osaka because that's literally called Little Osaka. And aside from takoyaki, you can't find takoyaki there. You can pretty much find udon, ramen, sushi. Some small Korean restaurants sort of sneak in as well, and you can find some pretty nice Korean food. Actually, I had once. There's some nice Vietnamese food, even though that's extremely expensive. Vietnamese food is especially expensive for some goddamn reason. Fast food too, especially McDonald's, $9 for a Big Mac meal. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Subway is so expensive. But so will you stream? I don't stream on Twitch. I don't. I could rant about food for so much. In the old host house, she just drinks tap water. Are you insane? Are you fucking insane? She just lifts the tap in the sink and pours it into a giant plastic pot, and she calls it a pitcher. I hate this word. Every single new word that she says, it's just bad. Like one time she said like I can't hide food in my room because it attracts critters. What the fuck is a critter? And then like the old host, I don't know if it's a Texan thing or not because she's born in Texas apparently, but she calls me like darling. You gotta wake up earlier, darling. Atta boy. Because she owns a Rottweiler, and sometimes she's like, sit, 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 atta boy. I'm like, fuck you. I will impale you with a bamboo. Darling. Caprice. Like when I was washing my clothes in the fucking washing machine in the hallway, she's like, okay, do this and do that. Caprice. What the fuck? Are you from the 1920s? Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ, I hate living with her. It's people like her. Man, I just cannot. I just cannot. And the fact that I survived in her house for 3 weeks is honestly a miracle. Because she hadn't even heard of egg tarts. She must be so in just imprisoned in her own world. Like Yeah, I mean, she told me she has a Taiwanese friend, but even so, she is so ignorant towards other cultures. For the first week, she thought I was Japanese. Oh, so do you miss Tokyo? I mean, I love Tokyo, don't get me wrong. I haven't been there though. But oh, you miss Tokyo? And then I said, oh, I'm from Hong Kong. Oh, you're from China. You know what? I forgive you because Asia is weird. Okay, fine. And then she makes these orange chicken like with rice, like it's Chinese food. The rice isn't that bad, but it's a little bit wetter than normal. But the orange chicken, which part of this dish is Chinese? You tell me. The sweet and sour sauce kind of originated from China, but really this American version of the sauce, not good. The chicken is literally deep fried chicken nuggets. If that's not the most American thing ever, I don't know what is. And she even mixed beans and carrots in there. Beans and carrots. I'm surprised she didn't ask me if I'm related to Bruce Lee or something. And then the Chinese food doesn't stop because my new host, he also made Chinese food one time. Steamed broccoli. Steamed, not steamed, boiled broccoli. Why? And then once again, sweet and sour chicken. Sweet and sour chicken is the only dish that Chinese people eat. Of course, you're right. We don't eat anything else. I'm not even Chinese, but you get the idea. And then these 小笼包, squashed, flat, cold, small. It's a soup dumpling, and there's no soup in it. And why would you eat the dumpling with the rice? Why is there multiple starches? If you buy like Chinese food in Trader Joe's, it comes with fried noodles and rice at the same time. Why? It doesn't work like that. In America, we will not support the revolutionary and actual Chinese food in America. To be fair, there are actual authentic Chinese food in LA. It's just difficult to find. It's just extremely difficult to find. And new millennial and Gen Z chefs have been trying to really introduce actual authentic food in the rest of the world. Like authentic Japanese food, authentic Korean food. So you're not going to get none of that crappy ramen and crappy sushi and crappy tempura. You're going to actually get some for real, tamagoyaki, okonomiyaki. I don't even know Japanese food that much. Speaking of Japan, I did meet a Japanese person in the film 40 class. So let's talk about making friends then, because I've been ranting too much about food. Um, Making friends is difficult, especially for someone like me who clearly is absolutely awful at socializing with people. And for starters, maybe it would be a good idea to make friends of your own race. So obviously there's JT. You haven't met him yet because he hadn't showed up in my vlogs yet. Like I haven't edited that yet. But I met a man named Potter, who is 3 years older than me and smokes weed and cigarettes. And you can tell that he smokes weed by the things he talk about. And then there is Diana, who is this rich girl who is actually 1 year younger than me, but she acts like a mommy. But even so, like I don't really trust her. Like there's something suspicious about her. So there's Potter, there's Diana, and then in my psychology class, I couldn't meet one single friend until at the very end. Um, I won't spoil what happened actually, but at the very end, there's a white boy who spoke to me. So that's the first white person I ever exchanged phone numbers with, even though I don't frequently speak to him. And then film class, I found another Hong Konger, which is amazing. I can't believe how joyous I was when I saw another Hong Konger in the film class. Not only another Hong Konger, but also a film loving Hong Konger. That is rare. We are a rare breed. And then I met a Chinese person who was born in Changsha, Hunan, but he is adopted. And Hong Kong and living in Cali for a bit. What do you think about weed, and do you support legalizing it? This is complex. This is complicated question. Okay, aside from the Chinese dude who's adopted, that's my Film 31 class Wednesday night, which just happened. Film 40 Saturday morning, I met a Filipino boy and a Japanese girl, but the Japanese girl didn't show up last Saturday, so I'm a little bit worried because culturally and ethnically, I'm the closest to her, and for some reason, I just gravitate towards her because she has black hair. And then there's a Filipino boy who I exchange numbers with, but that's really cool. About weed. I do not smoke weed, and if somebody offers me weed as kindly as they are, I will not smoke because smoking weed is like dabbing and downloading TikTok. It's just something that I swore I'll never do in my life. But if somebody smokes weed in front of me, I will not get mad. And I'll be like, okay, you do you, even though I don't like the smell. And I do smell weed. Like when I'm walking on the streets in LA, like sometimes just a disgusting, stinking, sour smell just appear in the wind. And the the more times you smell it, the more you would know, oh, the weed smell, the weed's here again. Okay. So legalizing it is fine as long as it's restrained, I guess. As long as people are not abusing it, because weed is a drug, obviously. Maybe not as harmful as alcohol, and alcohol definitely kills more people and hurts more people than weed does. But even so, if you abuse weed, it will have definite negative effects. I learned this in psychology class. Weed is a hallucinogen. If you smoke too much, you will have hallucinations. And that's bad. You don't want that. A little bit can calm you down, definitely, but I will not smoke it. Also, I'm not the kind of person who gets addicted to things because I'm a very stone cold, boring ass person. I don't get addicted to things. But yeah, Potter smokes weed. So this man, by the way, fake name. I don't use real names. Potter smokes weed as a way to cope with his depression during the socio-political situation in Hong Kong in 2019. Well, I constantly breathe I constantly breathe air because I'm forced to, because I live in a society. But yeah, Potter smokes weed. He fought the cops, hand-to-hand combat. And he told me about it the first time we met. And we had lunch at KFC. It's so interesting. So I'm going to give you a bit of spoilers. So in my last college update vlog, it's January 22nd. I just moved into this house. So that is arc 2. So arc 1 is January 6th, or actually January 1st to January 22nd, where I live in my first house. I settle down. I go to the churches that my mom introduced me to, and I speak to JT. And I, settle down, and then there's a almost getting COVID, and the host is being toxic and all that stuff. Arc 2, second arc. Okay. So the first arc is called, I know I'm so extra, I'm so anime, I'm so weeb, leave me alone. Arc 1 is Happy House. It's called Happy House, which is Susie and the Banshee song. This is the Happy House. And I called this arc Happy House arc because I'm happy in this house. And then arc 2 is January 22nd till, actually, I originally thought it's until like 2 weeks ago, but now that I'm in a situation right now, I don't think arc 2 has ended yet. But it's called the Cobweb Strategy. And the reason why I call my second arc here the cobweb strategy is because I'm making friends using this strategy, the cobweb strategy. Um, I make friends with one person, and if that other person has another friend, I connect. And now I'm not good at making friends. I'm not good at this game. Um, I still have a long way to go in terms of owning my friendship alluring skills. But I try my best. At least I'm not afraid to speak to people now. Like if I am if I am in form 4 right now, if I'm form 4, how old was I? 16. If I was 16 years old right now and I speak to strangers, I would be quite anxious. But right now, if I see people, I could just walk up to them and say hi and speak up. Like being in America made me feel more comfortable speaking to people. Ooh, there's a cat outside my room. Um, but yeah, I feel more comfortable speaking to people right now because in my head I'm like, okay, I could say something embarrassing, I could say something cringy, but first of all, if I'm honest, they will know. They will notice, and people like honesty. Second of all, if I say something wrong, what are you going to do? Stab me? Which may actually happen. I mean, it's LA. People are insane here. But you get the idea. Just be a little bit more brave, is all. And, in LA, in California, a lot of people are fake. A lot of people personalities are fake as fuck. Like every time they say something, they have to dress it up and sugarcoat it. Like, hello, what's up? Like, welcome to California. So who's lamer in this conversation, me or you? In Hong Kong, it's different. In Hong Kong, especially when speaking to a teenager, it is a battle of wits. Every single sentence, every single line, okay, will imply a person's personality. It's a game of chess. It's 5D chess. Living in USA in general is 5D chess. Making friends is 5D chess. Every single day is a battle, okay? Every single day, every single move I make with so much calculations. It it will break the mind of a person who's not prepared. But making friends here, it's interesting. It really is interesting, definitely. Um all kinds of people too. So I haven't made any black people friends or Latino friends yet, but I look forward to, honestly. Actually, though, okay, so the Hong Konger girl from my film class, her name is Pepper. It's a fake name. And her boyfriend is a Latino. So I may be able to meet him and be like, what's up? I'm such a fucking loser. I know that. But yeah, I've had nothing but terrible days in USA so far, I'd say. I mean, there are happy moments. When I bought garlic in the supermarket, I was so genuinely happy because so far in the USA, every time I've had broccoli, it's boiled. Americans don't know how to cook vegetables. This is why a lot of children in America are like, ooh, vegetables, disgusting, because American parents don't know how to prepare them. Like, you don't boil broccolis. It stinks. You add oil to the you hot water, you blanch the broccoli for half a minute, clean it up, pan, oil, chopped up garlic, and then you put broccoli and then you fry. Perfecto. And if you need a little bit more flavor, salt and pepper. That's how you prepare broccoli. And then carrots, I mean, you can eat it raw, that's fine, but chop it up, fry it, add cabbage, add beans, add some chicken powder if you have it. Chop suey, classic Cantonese dish. Also a great way to make vegetables. This is why a lot of East Asians have no problems eating vegetables because the East Asian way of preparing vegetables is so much more creative. Like different kinds of cured vegetables in Japan and Korea and China and Hong Kong and Taiwan as well. You know, kimchi. That's amazing. Come on. And also, it's healthy. It's healthy to have vegetables. This is why the rate of obesity is so high in America. I mean, yeah, good. Because the Asian diet has less proteins because we have more of an emphasis on rice and not bread. Generally has more proteins and sugars in it. But that doesn't mean anything. We're still healthy as fuck. But I guess one interesting thing about USA is that there's so many kinds of fast foods, and I can't wait to try like all of them, all the way from Five Guys to Shake Shack to Jack in the Box to Red Robin to Domino's Pizza to Taco Bell. I tried Taco Bell. In fact, I made a video on it, so check that one out. I will be posting that one very soon. Carl's Jr. I've had that. Wendy's, Denny's. Denny's not even fast food, but you get the idea. There's just so much Chick-fil-A, Chuck E. Cheese, Applebee's, Dairy Farm, Dairy Queen, Dairy Farm, Dairy Queen. I don't know anymore. Just and then the variety, the diversity of cereal is insane. Like you got Cinnamon Crunch, you got Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, and then Frosted Flakes and Cheerios. I hate Cheerios. A lot of Americans love it. I hate it. They are tasteless, bland, small, circular crunches of shit. I absolutely hate it. There are some Americans' food that I like Eggos. But Eggos isn't even anything special. It's basically soft waffle. And bagels are fine, but they're basically circular bread with a hole in the middle. Donuts are fine, but just fine. Dunkin' Donuts is good, but like supermarket donuts, I've had it this morning, not very good. Tastes like plastic. Sausages are fine, actually. Depends on what kind you get. Again, fruit juice. This one, 6 out of 10. Tropicana, 3 out of 10. Terrible. But the first one I bought, the one in Whole Foods, the one with pulp, actually really good. 8 out of 10. Chocolate milk, 0 sugar chocolate milk, not good. But the Belgian one, that's thick and that's good. Ice cream, Kroger's ice cream, mediocre. But Ben and Jerry's, we all know it's good stuff, but it's very expensive. Pies. Ralph's has a lot of pies. Apple pie, peach pie, cherry pie. So far, I've tried the apple pie and the pumpkin pie. They're both pretty good, but very dry. Also, don't microwave pies. It will collapse. Oven pies. It takes longer time, but the crust gets crunchier. Cakes, very sweet. American foods and drinks are extremely sweet. If they can add salt, they will add a lot of salt. If they can add sugar, they will add extreme amounts of sugar. But one thing that's awesome is that they refill. Usually restaurants refill. Like even in more like Chinese Hong Kong style restaurants in the east side, milk tea or lemon tea, raise your hand and refill. But here's the thing, in American restaurants you cannot raise your hand because everybody's equal and everybody's like, like has rights, which is true by the way, but you just can't raise your hands. And if you see a bus coming by and if you raise your hand, that's a little rude. You gotta stare at the bus driver in the eye in order to express that you may have the desire to maybe get on the bus. And the transportation system in LA is absolute garbage. The buses, there are like 5 different bus systems in LA, and they don't interconnect at all. It's actually shit. Like there's a Big Blue bus, which is all west side near Santa Monica. There's a Culver City bus. There's a Metro bus. And that's like the 3 types of bus that I've been on. But there are many other types of bus. And buses can be late. Some buses can be like 40 minutes late. There's a very cool app called Transit. It's useful, but that doesn't help shit. Buses still go late all the time. It's unpredictable. That's why you always need to be on the lookout. When is the next bus? When is the next bus? Because if you miss it, well, you're fucked. And then again, LA is huge. Like, just to get to Walgreens, I have to take 20 minutes bus. 20 fucking minutes to Walgreens. Wall fucking Greens. Oh my god. The metro is garbage. Obviously, I prefer Hong Kong's MTR way more than LA Metro because LA Metro doesn't require you to pay. So a lot of homeless people just sit in there and sleep in there, and the train goes around, and that's all. And it smells like piss. I've taken the metro once to Culver City, and it's like the moment I walk in there, there's a black homeless dude. But you know what? It's fine. Like, I didn't get stabbed or anything. My mom's really worried. Like, oh my god, you got to be careful. Don't go outside of your house after this time. Don't go to the metro because you may get beaten up. That's not true. It's safe. Obviously, Hong Kong is safer, but LA is not as bad. I mean, it depends on which area you go to. I mean, obviously, in Venice, there's a lot of homeless people. Homeless is a huge situation in LA. Like, wherever you go under the bridge, there are tents. There are people sleeping on benches. Especially in Venice, downtown Santa Monica, maybe some Sawtell Boulevard. That's a big one. Sawtell Boulevard intersecting with Pico Boulevard. That part, kind of iconic. Kind of iconic. But yeah. So mid-February was pretty peaceful for me. Like the first 2 weeks of February was pretty peaceful for me. Like I've been meeting people, Potter, Diana, Pepper, the girl, the Chinese dude, the Filipino boy, the Japanese girl. All nice. And the Japanese girl, she's not like, she speaks English fluently, and she is way more outgoing. I hate making stereotypes, but she's way more outgoing and like extroverted than an average Japanese person. Let's just say that. But then again, how would I know? I'm not Japanese. But she left Japan when she's 9, so at least a bit of her childhood is in Japan. And she told I the first time I had a conversation with her, I asked her, which prefecture are you from? I'm just that much of a fucking weeb now. And I actually know which prefecture it is. I actually heard of it. I'm just that good, man. I'm just that good. And she's also a village girl, which is, a bit of an anime stereotype. Oh yeah, that village girl character. There's a tsundere, there's a yandere, there's a village girl, there's the dere dere, and then there's the main heroine. Yeah, people are fucking weird here, and that's good. It's interesting, I guess. But I feel like, okay, I'm gonna conclude the stream because I need to watch first half of a movie and then take a shower and go to bed right now. But oh, and I guess I can eat like a cereal bar right now if you don't mind. Don't mind if I do. Granola bar. Actually, decent price, and doesn't taste that bad. Actually, not bad. Actually, I like it. It's not bad. And if you're hungry and if you want quick oats, you can try this granola bar. I hate that Americans don't use air conditioning as much as Hong Kong. I mean, one of the most iconic things about Hong Kong is that you can be walking on the streets and suddenly water will drop on your head because aircon. But aircon is a necessity because in the summer, if there's no aircon, I'm gonna melt. That's not good. There's so many other things about LA that's just weird. Green lights don't exist. In traffic lights, it's not red light, green light. It's white light. What the fuck? In traffic lights in America, they don't make sound. Why? Because they're designed for cars, not for people. In street signs in America, in LA, so confusing because again, they're designed for cars, not for people. It's supposed to be read in a way that you're driving. So road signs in America, in LA specifically, they're in the corner of a street, which is so confusing because I don't know if it's the parallel one or the perpendicular one. I have to think. And they're all blue, which is fine. I like it. I like blue. Keyholes in America, they're anti-clockwise. In Hong Kong, you turn clockwise with the keys, but in America, you turn anti-clockwise. I seem really happy and jolly right now, but honestly, I'm really nervous because tomorrow is going to be a very important day. I'm going to go to the bank because my bank account got hacked or something and got shut down for a month already. I need to go to a bank and ask for some cash and then immediately bring some cash and visit a rental apartment. And then if the apartment looks good, I need to pay immediately because I'm in a race with another person who also wants to rent the apartment. And I can't risk the person liking the apartment and paying immediately the day he visits, which is Friday. But in case the apartment is not that good and I don't want to live in it, I can actually hold off. But the only backup plan is an Airbnb, which is actually nice. Fairly priced, below 2,000 US dollars, which is still super fucking expensive, but what can you expect? It's LA. Has air conditioner, so I don't melt during summer. Or, well, not melt, because LA is dry as hell, so I guess evaporate. Has a kitchen, so I can cook food and not starve to death. And, has a bed so I can sleep, maybe. Even though insomnia is still a problem. But I haven't taken any of those melatonin because I'm a good boy. And the internet here is not that good. You know, you think, oh, LA is a hub of the world. But the internet in this house and the old house, shite. Actually, shite. Like, it could be 5 bars and then it could disappear. Like, it's just bad. And the COVID situation is bad. Like, people have no awareness whatsoever. Like, they still grab food by their hands. I hate this so much. Like, a piece of bread, they just grab it with their bare hands. Just like a piece of Play-Doh. Jesus Christ. Okay, if it's a burger or a sandwich or a potato chip, fine. But like sometimes it's like a piece of meat. Sometimes people walk in the streets half naked. Again, very progressive. You're right to wear whatever you want, that's fine. But sometimes it's borderline public indecency. You might as well be naked with your dick swinging around, with your boobs bouncing. Yeah, I did make some new friends. Because I'm insane, I made a ranking. So every single person I meet, there's grade A, grade B, grade C, and grade D, and grade E. Grade E is stranger. Grade D is someone I know of and someone I heard of, but I don't really have intention to speak to whatsoever. Grade C is someone that I know dearly, but I wouldn't express all my thoughts. Grade B are friends, people who I express honestly, and people who I would like to know more about. In grade A, they are 知己, they're best friends, people who I can act completely like myself around, like Natalie, Cedric, Leo, Pink, Zara, Miriam, Nick. Grade B, so far I haven't made any grade A friends. It's difficult to be a grade A, okay? Like, I need to be your friend for at least 3 years, and I need to know you inside out first in order to be grade A. But grade B, I've made a few friends, yeah, which is shocking. I'm shocked too. I thought I would be completely alone, dying in my room, which is kind of true, but I'm not completely alone. I have people, actually. Wow. Wow, Enoch Lai, you're insane. You made friends? Jesus Christ. Americans in general are dirtier. Way less hygiene. And spiders are a problem in LA. There's a kind of spider called daddy longlegs, and it can fly. I'm so glad this spider doesn't exist in Hong Kong. My brothers and sisters in Hong Kong don't have to face this monster. Californians, man. They're one of a kind. This is why diversity is so important, because especially in America, when American centrism is such a thing, I'm just glad that like 40% of all the students and all my classmates in my film 40, my cinematography class, aren't even American. There's a French girl, there's an Italian woman, there's a Swedish guy, there's an Israeli guy, there's a Russian girl, there's a Japanese girl, there's a Filipino boy, even though he's probably like Filipino American, and there's two Mexicans, there's a Hong Konger, which is me, and the professor is Indian. From Mumbai, by the way. Has a thick accent. The thicker the better. Because the thicker the accent, the more you know he's native. But I have an American accent, but I'm also native of Hong Konger. I'm insane. I'm a rare case. What kind of American food have you tried? Again, I just dedicated the first half an hour of the stream is just me talking about all kinds of food, so you can check that one out. But burgers, pizza, everything. Tacos. I love tacos. Taco Bell, I tried it a couple times. I actually kind of like it. Maybe it's because I'm an outsider. I don't know. But it's actually not bad. Um, but there are a lot of terrible things. Biscuits. Ooh, American biscuits. Like first of all, biscuits. What Americans call biscuits and what we call biscuits are different. Americans biscuits is this crumbly, bland, tasteless chunk of edible chalk. That's kind of like bread, and it's bland, tasteless as hell. Cornbread is weird. I've never tasted cornbread before, and my host right now loves cornbread. And the first time I ate it, I hated it. But now it's like, okay, it's growing on me. It's like bread, but tastes like corn. It's kind of like cheesecake almost, but tastes like corn. um, yeah, I tried some American cereal, Lucky Charms, which is like toasty, crunchy stuff with occasional pockets of sugar. And yeah, American candy, very sweet, but actually kind of good. Um, hmm, can't think of any. American paper is so rough. Like American toilet paper is somewhat normal, thank God, but Americans don't use tissue. I mean, there are tissue boxes. They do exist. I mean, just look. But in the kitchen, there's paper towel, which is also normal. But aside from that, you get these things called napkins, which are as thick and as rough as sandpaper. You expect me to wipe my mouth with that? um, Americans seldom use cash, which is lame. Paper money is such a damn good invention. Okay, it is invented in the 12th century during the Song Dynasty. It's one of the best inventions in China. It's even better than gunpowder. I mean, gunpowder is great and all, but back then Chinese people didn't even know how to use gunpowder other than for, I guess, maybe decorative purposes. It is until it is passed to the Middle East and then to Greeks, and then the Greeks made Greek fire, and then it's passed to Europe, and then guns are invented. But the Chinese invented gunpowder, but they didn't do jack shit with it. And compass is great. I don't know. I don't fucking know anymore. I tried Mountain Dew. I tried Baja Blast, which tastes pretty good actually. Dr. Pepper literally tastes like medicine. Root beer literally tastes like medicine. Um, some of the Whole Food cereal tastes like sandpaper. Tastes like gravel. Kind of kind of gross. Um, yeah. And Americans wear more hats. Licensed, customized license plates are less common in America. I'm gonna end the stream here. Really, I'm just tired. I'm a tired boy. I need to wake up earlier tomorrow, and oh my god, I hope tomorrow goes well. Jesus Christ, I'm just stressful. It is very stressful, and my hair is long. Last time my hair was this long, I was 5 years old. And I'm planning to have a haircut at the end of March, and I'm aiming for the old boy hairstyle. I want to look like a homeless so that I can scare people left and right wherever I go. Though I may have to shave my mustache, which is going to make me look like a baby, but homeless baby. I find my sense of humor have strengthened and reinforced after I've been to America, after all that shit's been thrown at my face. I have a newfound cynicism towards the world and humanity after witnessing the atrocities of LA. And all the paper money in America, they're all green. How do you expect me to tell the difference between a $1 bill and a $20 bill? It's all green, you idiot. Yeah, I don't know. And people's handwriting sucks because education system is bad in the USA. Again, I'm gonna just end off the stream right here. I do know I look at the number. Also, Americans don't use a lot of cash, so it doesn't even matter. Um, yeah, and then Panadol doesn't exist, but Tylenol exists because in America, Panadol is called Tylenol. Okay, I'm gonna end off the stream here, and I'm gonna deal with tomorrow. Tomorrow is gonna be extremely stressful, and yeah, I wasn't like this back in Hong Kong. I used to be normal. Los Angeles has fucked me up so bad. My mind, my body, my soul, everything. LA is turning me into a broken, distorted piece of walking meat with sleeping issues and trust issues, which is perfect. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna watch half a movie and go to bed and survive. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Happy days.